And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. Monday night. It is the 13th of December. We're 2 rounds into the season, and we're here to talk tonight about a loss against the Hawks on the weekend. It was a tough L to take. We're going to go through a lot of it, talk about some of the stats, talk about some of the game as well. And then we're going to preview the upcoming massive round, 3 game week. So all those fantasy people out there, get your Kings in the fantasy team for a 3 week special.
Please.
We'll also shout out that fantasy league that we opened up. We'll let everyone know how to join that. Get your team into that. We'll talk tips and anything else we will also cover tonight. But as always, you can find us on Facebook. We're live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. You can watch us back in replay, and you can watch us back in Facebook on replay. And if you want to listen to us in audio form, you can hear us on the Anchor platform, which goes out to Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. So definitely get in there and give us a rating and review, and let us know what you think. 5-star, that'd be great. Get us out there. And yeah, I think that's about it for intros. It was a tough L to take that game
Yeah, but
against the Hawks.
was it though? I mean, Jalen Adams gets called day, and then RJ Hunter gets called game time, and you're kind of like, well, you're kind of down two of your imports. Jerome Martin had a shocker, and
Yeah.
you kind of go to your deep bench, and mate, they put up the fight. Illawarra is a top three team, like easily top three
Mm.
team. Duop Reith, I've said this a million times on this podcast, is the pickup of the NBL this year. He is such a good player, and we saw it on Sunday afternoon. It just stretches the floor, can play inside, plays bigs, bigger than all your guys, gets the tip ins long. He's always in the right places. True professional. So you can understand why he was picked for the Boomers.
Some
And
pretty
now,
clutch shooting too. Like
yeah,
some of those
yeah,
shots were pretty timely.
yeah, man. He's got the step back. He's got the mid range game. He's got the rim game. He's a pretty complete package, man. And that's saying something. I mean, Tyler Harvey was just throwing up absolutely flaming dog shit all night. That
That's
team
what do you mean all night? That's all he
just
does.
yeah, just flaming, absolutely flaming garbage, man. That team is really built around Duop, which is, Gordon's a good coach, and they had a good stretch there. But our boys did well. We played well. And there's definitely sparks. There's also Coach Buford being a little bit like, we've got to get every man his dog in this game, which I think is a little bit too. It's a 40 minutes, not NBA. Like, you don't really have to go to that deep bench, especially in games like this. But I still think he's kind of trying to find out his best rhythm. I mean, Jalen Galloway played. Pretty much everyone played, which is except obviously the two injured players, which probably could have had a shorter rotation. There was times you're like, this combination didn't look good. And I haven't really seen that since kind of the beginning of 40s reign last year, and obviously Andrew Gaze's lineups were like, what are you doing? But I saw some lineups I didn't like. I saw a lot of quick rotation, which again I don't like. I like guys that are getting out there, getting runs together. I just feel like no one could build runs. No one was getting found in the corners. We didn't see a lot of Matua Maker. We saw a bit of Makur.
Yeah, just
Uh,
3 minutes of a turn maker.
um, so, I mean, coming from beast mode game one to 3 minutes game two against a Duop Reef is a little bit strange for my lines, because Jerome Martin was just getting absolutely trounced by Duop. It's just, you just can't defend him in the low post.
Mm.
And on the O boards, it's too easy. And you know the Froling brothers, Harry the most disappointing Froling, and the other Froling on the O boards
Has
is,
his head got bigger?
I don't know, man.
He
It's
was
gotten
standing
uglier.
on the block for a free throw, and he was talking to someone, and his head looked like massive. I was like, "What is going on with that head? It's huge."
Yeah, Illawarra is probably the second deepest team, I think. When you've got Harry Froling coming in for a bit of garbage minutes, that's a pretty good
Mm.
team.
Yeah,
Uh,
9 minutes, 0 of 3.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
pretty
doesn't.
solid night. 4 rebounds.
Since that first season at Adelaide, he has looked absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, and that's the gorgeous thing, though, right? Is to pick up these players and make them better.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes the season with us. Like, oh, Frolling's back. Like we
Yeah.
found a use for him. But at the same time, it's Frolling. And how many times have we seen that over the last 4 years where you're just like, oh, Brisbane, could restart his career at Brisbane? Nah, didn't happen. But this, if you look at the shot chart or the box score, 8 of 15 for Cleveland, 5 of 17 for Harvey, 5 of 13 for Jessup, 12 of 17 for Duop Breath, and that's pretty big volumes for some of these scorers on that team. Then you look at our team, and you got Glover taking 16 shots, 6 of 16. Then from there, you got Jarrell Martin, 5 of 12, and Cooks and Bruce, 4 of 10 each. It's like I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, and we've got a lot of good players, but we don't necessarily have just scorers, like two or three scorers where you go, right, you're going to take between 16 and 20 shots tonight, and it's going to be reliable. Like Martin was that guy last year, and Martin is that guy.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of this team this year, like I said in the first week, I'm kind of a bit just like, doesn't fit. Like it doesn't really make sense to have him play his style in this team.
Yeah, I think there's too many hands in the cookie jar. There's too many guys that kind of maybe, and again maybe that's like a Buford finding his kind of rhythm. But there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar. There's a lot of guys that seem like they want to take a lot of shots. We've still got DJ to come back, which is going to be a brilliant addition. And I mean, Adams was sorely missed. Then you've got RJ Hunter in there as well. It's a very deep team, and even with 2 injuries out, to take Illawarra to the fourth quarter, who are completely healthy, I think says something a lot about what this team can do, and what it can achieve. And once it gets its rosters down pat and some of its lineups, in the right spot, it's you don't need to play two development players. I think that's the problem, right? Is that they're there to learn the craft and to become better. But I probably could have thought of 2 less players on that court last night, and still been got some other guys some more minutes. So it's an interesting style that Buford plays. He plays this high energy octane style where he gets guys in and out quickly.
Spread too. It's very spread and a lot of outside shooting 5 out. And that's tied back into Martin. That's where I don't feel like Drew Martin fits with his 5 out fast style. It's like, no, we need to slow
he's
it down.
kind of clear the floor on the weak side and get him in the post. And maybe you can see a lot of high pick and rolls, and you kind of think Geordie would be better for that high pick and roll because he's a kind of a bigger dude than Jarrell, a bit more athletic. Jarrell's a great finisher around the rim, but less athletic. So you kind of want Geordie to finish that. I do like the high pick and rolls. They go to a fair bit, and you know what? A lot of turnovers off the pick and roll. It's something that Sydney hasn't really played in the last 3 years. Is that high pick and roll? That's something Will Weaver never went to, and 40 never went to it. So
does it work in FIBA though? Really?
I think you'll learn pretty quickly that it doesn't. It depends. You'd have to get some pretty good players. I think it'd work well with Jordan Hunter because Jordan Hunter is good at diving to the rim.
Yeah.
That's one thing he's really good with, and that should have been in his arsenal last year, just wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Maybe when he's back, that'll be something. But how does Hunter coming back into this team? It just blows my. How many players do we have?
Yeah, there's a lot of players there.
It's absurd.
He was listed. He's listed on this box score, but just looking through. So Swaka Lobaluk got the start, which I thought was a bit like, oh, okay, fair enough. I thought
played really well. Played really well.
Yeah.
In my mind, played like you know what it is. He's a defensive menace. He kind of sticks to guys. He's really long. He's like a Sunday Dej clone. Just like can shoot the 3 ball if his feet are set. Can't really play around the rim, but is a defensive menace, and that's kind of what he's in the team for. And I was surprised, but he did well. I think he played well.
Yeah, it was good to see him. 11 points, 4 of 7, 2 of 3 from 2, and then 2 of 4 from 3. It's still this kind of like Sean Bruce plus another guy, and the only one that I've ever seen kind of have a real combination with Sean Bruce is kind of Casper Ware if everyone gets out of their way. But it's or Shawnee Bruce in the second unit. Like it just is like Bruce. I don't know. I like him. I like his hustle. He's solid, but he has this kind of like off ball knack of just kind of clogging up the offense a little bit. But at the same time, like you put him in these lineups with Cooks and then Drew Martin and Glover, I don't think is a real shot creator, like a natural shot creator either. So you're asking him while the other guys are out to create shots. And, 6 of 16, he had a pretty good night. But you don't look at him and go, that's a shot creator. He likes to catch and shoot or, come off a screen and shoot the ball. And it's 5 out, it's fast. And then you're just like, but this roster is a jumble. Like, it's just a jumble of players. And I guess as we go along this season, we're going to see how it goes. Geordie Hunter's going to come back. Like, RJ Hunter's going to come back. You're going to get DJ to come back as well. Got fighting a bit of a lurgy. It's pretty nasty. But it's going to be a style where he's going to have to adapt. And like we were talking about pick and roll, you watch Perth and you watch Melbourne, and they've got a unique style of pick and roll. Like, you can see that it's just like, 12 seasons in the NBL, and now you kind of have not just, but like now you've developed this kind of NBL style pick and roll where there's a lot of late screen action, a lot of dive, a lot of like cut and slip screen and stuff like that.
There's also a lot of float game. You look at how they play. It's the high pick and roll to the kind of free throw line floater. It's not guys trying to finish around the rim. And that kind of works in FIBA because it's hard for the center to come out and take the man off the roll. And he's got to kind of stay in his lane and stay in the semicircle, and then there's your floater. But you're just essentially going up for a contested shot then, which is kind of the negligible if it's a good shot blocker like GRC is going to be it's going to be hard to do to Phoenix. There's a lot of guys it's going to be hard to do this season because they're good they're good rim protectors. So and we don't. Yeah, I don't. Jarrell Martin doesn't have a float game. I think Jalen Adams will have a float game. We'll see more of that. But that's who we're missing this game. But again, early season.
Yeah.
You just got to get to the top 4, which I still have a lot of faith that we do. But I do see that maybe this is why RJ Hunter is not in the NBA, is because his knees are kind of like Tic Tacs, and it's going to be like game day to game day decisions.
Yeah, is he carrying an injury?
He's carrying tendonitis in the knee, which is it's never.
Is that code for like I can't play more than 1 game a week?
It's code for it's kind of like maybe they got him on a good deal because he really can't play volume. He's just going to be there if he's there, and we've got such a deep roster. It doesn't really matter. He's just a bonus player if he's in. Knee tendonitis is one of the things is you just don't know week to week how it's gonna flare up.
And I think if we had if we probably had DJ back, you could probably get away with having like RJ as maybe the older style. You play 1 game a week, or like bring him in and out and leave him out of the team a little bit. But the other thing too is it lets Bales get some more minutes too, and I think him having more minutes. He had 4 turnovers, but still just a presence. Like I think against a Hawks team where I feel like the Hawks are a little bit more established in the fact that they have some younger guys that can play, but Bale's coming into a game like that, tries hard, but like up against a team where it's like we know how to kind of ice you out of a game.
They're also very lane picky. Illawarra are notorious for picking the lanes, and that's you watch Buford. He likes to swing the ball like cross court to find the open guy, and that works in the NBA maybe when you've got the floor spread, but not in FIBA. You can't swing the ball too much in FIBA. It's the court's too clogged. It's not the same kind of style spread. The 3-point line's longer, further out from the rim, so you get a little bit more of a spread. Whereas in FIBA, it doesn't really work like that. You can't kind of swing cross court 3 times a game and expect not to get your pocket picked.
Yeah, it's less side to side and more like in and out, right? Like you got to be able to dribble in, dribble out, move guys in and out rather than side to side, eh?
Yeah.
And he's got to learn that pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different to the G League. Maybe he didn't watch a hell of a lot of NBL, but
I'm wondering if it's just style, right? It's style, like and it's also fitness. If you get this team playing fitter, faster, you can then kind of mid-season go, let's slip this down and then let's pivot into another style. I feel like 40 kind of did that last year. Like you had that team kind of playing hard, tough, and then slipped in, I've got some guys here I can actually slip into a style, which we're kind of seeing a little bit with Cairns. I've watched a couple of those games, but he just ran out of men. And the other part too is this team already has that in their locker. Like, we're down on guys. We've already got a camaraderie in this team, so it was good to see them. With a couple of guys going down, still battling hard in this game. Yeah, Galloway got 12 minutes. It didn't feel like that. He did pretty much nothing. No points. One rebound, -5, and that's too many minutes, man.
Well, it's just Galloway's a set shooter, right? And they just didn't find him. There was just
Mm,
no finding. And again, that's the lineups of Bawali Bales is kind of like that. Yeah, he's kind of like that Casper Ware style player where he gets in and out, creates his own shot off the dribble. But he's not a guy that you put in a lineup with Jalen Galloway because Galloway is going to be that feet set corner shooter or feet
mm,
set shooter. That's a Shawnee Bruce lineup, but that's that second unit that you're talking about. But we
mm.
don't see clear second unit definition in this team at all. It's kind of just man
It's
in, man out, man in, man out.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah. It's just like the lineup is the lineup at any given time.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
fully.
after watching a lot of NBA, you can see why they do that kind of 1 and 2 unit sub 1 or 2 men. It's because you kind of build a bit of a style. It's like two teams, right? You've got team
Mm,
A and team B, and they're always fighting they're fighting in practice. They're fighting out on the court to stay on longer, and you see that in Dan Vickerman's lineups with Melbourne. Definitely that style. Um, you see that in Perth lineups. But yeah, this was just maybe he's just still finding his edge and seeing what this team can do because we did not play a lot of preseason at all, so it's kind of hard to get a bit of a style going yet. But look, taking Illawarra to the fourth quarter when you know uh, they had a good night, still pretty good.
yeah. What's your just general vibe on what this team's doing at the moment?
It's still just yet to be established. I think there will be some pushover teams. Um, I think defensively they do pretty well. I think that's one thing that's kind of cohesive. There's some breakdown, but that again is weird lineups of guys not really understanding what their place is and who they're supposed to be guarding because it's that quick in, quick out. Like if I was a player and there's three news players every 2 minutes, I wouldn't understand what the fuck's going on either.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of have got to have that set establishment of okay, let's give these guys 7.5 minutes, get the second unit in halfway through the second quarter. Just get that flow of that game. Okay, is the second unit playing well? Give them an extra minute. I Who knows who's in every 3 seconds?
Mm.
It's too weird, too weird, and I think it throws the players off their juju as well. Which we saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of players starting to get hot and then get pulled, yanked, and then just like their juju was gone, and they came back into weird lineups.
It works if we've got a team where you can bring guys in and out of a malleable kind of team of all the same size guys, all playmakers, guys that can score. But we've kind of got a team where there's certain guys that can do certain things, and once you take a guy off the court, you can tell one guy's out there that can't do pretty much everything, and you're stuck like on that, like stuck with that guy, and you're
Yeah,
just kind of like, why is he out there? Um, but at the same time, like you're getting in these scenarios where we will create something, and then you just like take a shot, and then it's one guy, it's like, I'm open, I'm taking it. And then you kind of like, it's not great offense. Like,
yeah,
okay, take your shots because you're wide open, but at the same time, like, it's not rhythm offense.
that's
And
exactly right.
I like the way at least we're playing quickly because I think if we can establish the speed, get the like the longevity and the engine working, then we can kind of like be malleable. But you're obviously looking at Chase Buford going, okay, so when you're going to make that change up, if you're going to make that change up, I
Yeah,
guess we can keep playing this kind of fast style and working hard that way. But at the same time, like it's 2 games in, we've got a big 3 game stretch now, which we're going to talk about. But I don't know, like what I've seen, I still am like, we've taken last year's roster and gone, right, this guy's going to play an entirely new, different type of way. And that type of way's run away from a bunch of the core of this team
mm,
where you, instead of going, oh, well, we'll take the core and we'll do this. And then on the way to, pardon me, we'll change the way we play. It's kind of like Chase Buford's come in and gone, we're just going to play this way. And if you can't play that way, it's going to take a season. And then you're going to be, we'll just get rid of you type of
mm.
thing. I feel like that's kind of happening there. Like I'm just speculating, but the Jarrell Martin thing, man, I just watch him and I'm just like, you can't make him run up and down the floor because it just doesn't fit with his style. Like he needs the game to be sort of slowed down. He needs to be put in these positions to score the ball, and that's how you get the most out of him. Otherwise, like you get him running around ragged, and he just defensively too struggles. Like that's
Yeah.
where like his head goes. Oh, a couple of bad defensive plays, and then suddenly he's not calling for the ball, getting it. Because last year was like it was hesitation, it was step back. Like nobody knew how he was going to score the ball. Like the ball would be tossed into him, and you just be like, wow, like highlight scoring over the top of this guy. Like this is sweet, but I just don't feel like there's room for that in this team.
Yeah, I think also that he may almost fit off on a second unit better than a first unit. Like play like kind of like high octane, because Cooks is quite high octane. Remember those? I was just thinking. Remember those units last year of Bruce Cooks and Hunter, and you're just like, where is this basket coming from?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to get into situations like that this year, and there are going to be situations like that this year where you're like, where is this basket? Where is this next basket coming from? Because we don't know really what these lineups are. They kind of are not really working together, and you could see it. You can see it in certain lineups that guys was kind of standing around like stunned mullets, just waiting for to shoot the ball.
Mm.
Anyway,
Tommy V, 15 minutes, pretty solid minutes. I thought 9 points, 4 of 9. Defensively, just hustles. But if you look at the steals, this Illawarra team, pardon me, 13 steals on the night to our 5. Cleveland with 5 steals. Harvey 3 steals. Sam Froling had 2 steals. Froling is an underrated. I think he's an underrated big. Like pairing him up with Duo Breed, not necessarily in the same lineup, but putting him in the same team. Like he's got just the room to just be like, I don't need to be powerful. I don't need to be like running dudes ragged, scoring the ball with aggression. I can just get in these lanes, like perfect FIBA center, man. Like for a guy who's kind of undersized. And then I just, to go back to our style, I just feel like you just put him in this team, and it's just like he'd be the same as Jarrell. He'd just be like, no, you're not using, like you can't, like Sam Froling needs to be in here. You need to get him the ball there. But we'll work on that. Other things, Matur Maker did get some minutes, 3 minutes. There was a Swakalo Baluk Maker misdiagnosis.
Yep, I did.
I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that one. Holy moly.
Man.
I was expecting like Maker misdiagnosis, but not Wani and the Makers. Holy moly.
Mate, it's going to get like that, isn't it? There's imagine if Thon comes back and it's 3 Makers.
Dude, how good if we just picked up Thon? Nah, there's not a room.
There's no room.
Can we just make it happen? Just make it happen. And then Makur Maker rather getting 10 minutes, and then a little bit back down to earth. I think you saw his rawness.
Yeah.
New Zealand, I was gonna say the Hawks' ability to like pinpoint him, like and just be like, I know how to get you off the court. Hit a little Hezzy, a little Jessup, and he was just like, oh right, yeah, that's where kind of Maker's legs get a little bit out of control. He gets a little bit run ragged, and that's going to be part of his growth process this season. Any other stats from this game? Not really. Duo Breathe, go off on Duo Breathe because you called it at the start of the season MVP level center.
Yeah, MVP level center. The dude could play in the NBA. He's not that far away. He's the Jock Landale of this year, really. He will stand out. He can stretch the floor. He can play around the rim. He's, we saw him play for the Boomers. There's no Gumby. There's no Gumby in there, and that's the big thing. He doesn't make too many Gumby mistakes. He's kind of like the Nick Kay, just the perfect FIBA center.
Where is Nick Kay? Somebody get him to Sydney.
He's playing in Europe, man. He's playing highly in Europe as well. He's doing very well. He's a guy that would never make it in the NBA, but he's one of the best FIBA centers in the world, FIBA power forwards in the world. It's just weird.
It's just chunk and skill.
Chunk, skill, and just being right place, right time, just knowing your space on the court. Yeah, but we thought that of Jay Sean Tate, but look, man, he just scored 34 points the other day. So.
Dude, he's so good though. As soon as the first 3 games, you and I were just like, the dude should be in the NBA. Like you can see it, the way he moved his feet, the way he moved his body. How many white guys would just be like, ugh! Like just get bumped out of the way and just be like, holy moly, this truck just hit me, and then he'd just be like, hey, thanks, yeah. And you'd be like, yeah, that's someone who needs to be playing in the NBA. But yeah. So yeah, tough L, but we're gonna discuss this 3-game series that's coming up.
I believe it's a 2-game.
I got 3 on NBL website.
Let's go.
It says 3 games on the fantasy team too. So we got Melbourne again on Thursday.
Melbourne.
And then we got the Phoenix on Saturday, and then Wednesday is the Jack Jumpers. So going south, deep south. Looking at that, I'm just going to actually get the NBL website up. And Melbourne again, like that game against that dunk, man, that was nasty on Delhi.
Oh yeah, man.
That
Mitch
was
Creek.
a nasty dunk, and he loved it too. And I was kind of like, yeah, fair enough, celebrate it. Peatling coming through with the shoulder, giving him one.
He didn't go at Gallagher. He was just kind of going in the air. I thought it was very
Oh,
respectful.
it was.
Nah,
I think it was 50-50, right? It was.
he kind of looked at Delhi and remembered that that's his like friend,
Yeah.
and then he went, okay, now I'm gonna. Yeah.
But it wasn't one of those like legitimate rage dunks where someone rages on him and then like rages at him. Like we've seen him in the NBA where it's like they're good dudes, they know each other, and they still hulk up in front of each other. And then you're kind of like, but that's your mate. Like that doesn't make sense. But and then Peatling coming through with the really late like, well, that's my dude, and just elbow, and it was unnecessary, but still it was a nasty dunk, man. And fair play to Delhi. I mean, like it's easy to go. He got absolutely posterized, but fair play for him to try.
I have to say though, I've watched a bit of Delhi the last couple of games. He's getting a lot better. He's looking better. They need Golding, man.
They need him back.
Yeah, team is nothing without Golding.
And also Delhi just needs the team to play a certain way, and that team isn't like, it's not NBL like caliber. It's not FIBA caliber, right? He just holds the ball for way too long, and a lot of just dribbling into the middle of nowhere, and it's just like 3-man, like this, the center that's camping and the guy hoping off the wing, and all of them are just like over the top of him like a Harbour Bridge, and you're like, we've seen this before, Dilly. Why do you keep doing this? You're doing this like 4 times a game. This doesn't make any sense. But I guess when Golding comes back, that spacing is going to be a little bit better. Golding, I think, is still out.
Yes, he's 40. I think he's round 4 or 5 with hamstring. Yeah. So the 3 week is Melbourne, which I think will be a good game, but it should be the win. The Phoenix, man, Zhao Qi had an absolute blinder of a game over the weekend. Monster night.
They look good, man.
They do.
Brokoff, I don't know what's happened to Brokoff, but I watched their game the other night.
He had 2 years off playing basketball.
But he, like, how many times did, like, for Dallas and even for Philly, where you just, I know he didn't really play for Philly in the preseason, but for Dallas, like, he'd get into the lane, get the ball, like, off the dribble, playmake, and you'd be like, yes, like, that's actual, like, legitimate NBA level playmaking. Like, this is good. But we haven't seen any of that, really, for the Phoenix.
Well, because he finished the game, his last NBA game was at the beginning of COVID when that got called off. That was, like, beginning of 2020. And then he didn't play a game until last year, and then he kind of got injured, and he really hasn't had any game, like had a mediocre season last year. There's quality in there. It's just he hasn't found it yet. And it's like Cam Besto, man. Cam Besto has been playing absolutely out of his mind.
After last year, he looked like it was like washed. Yeah, he's been playing out of his mind for the 36ers. But yeah, I don't know. This Melbourne team is like,
you can never take it that Brokoff made the NBA. Besto made the. You can never write these guys off. They've always got something in them that you've got to take with a pinch of salt. But
how old is Jiachi?
27.
Yeah, so he's middle aged. So he's not just like a young guy.
No. He's played Houston, and then played in the Chinese league, like won Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row in the Chinese league. So,
because there's someone playing for Toronto, I think at the moment, that I thought that's who it was, but it's clearly not. But yeah, good, solid. That was a solid game. But once again, too, like if you're a 7-foot center in the NBL and your team knows how to run FIBA and knows how to get that big to come out who's camping, like you get the alley-oops for days, man. If you know how to roll properly, you're just going to get alley-oops all day.
Yeah. Mate, where's the taco? Get the taco here.
You just love him way too much. Get Boban down here as well. Twin towers.
Just pass the ball.
Twin satellites.
Camp City.
So yeah, tough stretch of games, man. Like I kind of would expect us to beat this Melbourne team. Like looking at this Melbourne team, you're kind of like, you're beatable, and we really should be beating them. on paper if we can get guys fit. Maybe not if we don't get guys fit, but this Phoenix team is going to be a real tough one as well. I think we kind of got the wood over the Phoenix too, don't we?
We typically do have the wood over the Phoenix, but this
This is a
team,
different team.
this is a different team. Definitely different team. They've got some good assets. I mean, the Breakers look pretty bad though, so let's be
Florida
honest.
Breakers.
Um,
That's a lot of hustle in that team, a lot of heart. I got to admit.
yeah. The only thing with the Phoenix is their bench depth is pretty woeful.
Well,
Adnan,
Kyle, come on from the
Pano,
bench.
Smith Milner, Tarangi, and Cam Glidden.
Have they still got Huhu Liafa as well?
Yeah,
From
he's playing. Yeah,
Fireballs?
Huhu Liafa is playing. Yeah, but again, that's their only weakness is that it's a really it's a big four. It's Krieg, Brokoff, Munford, and she, and a bit of Adnam who can be easily exploited on the defensive end.
Yeah,
So
true. But we don't
and
necessarily have those big wings anymore, really.
no, there's no Lazada, man. Getting done for
Yeah, man, I forgot about that. We should have talked about that a few weeks ago. But yeah,
yeah, it's just like there goes your NBA career, buddy.
yeah, what a shame. That was just it was allegedly a miscommunication, right? It was like
No,
a the Warney defense, wasn't it?
no, it was oh no, it was that he went home and took some supplements.
Yeah, yeah, it was like the Warney type thing where it's like, I didn't know what I was taking, man. And you're like, come on, Warney, like you came back 8 months later and you were huge. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, as a spin bowler, does that really make a difference?
Yeah, huge, man. You can
It was
bowl more overs. Do
yeah.
a few more of these ones. No, I love Warner, but it was fucking obvious, man. It was just like, you're huge now. What the hell's going on? And he's like, no, my mum told me to take this. And that's a legitimate, like now with so many supplements and that, I just see sorts of things like in UFC, all sorts of different things. And I'm just like, how easy would it be to just go, oh, vitamins? Yeah, okay. And then it's like bang, just some random substance. It's like, ooh, that's the end of you. Like,
They reckon that 40% of American supplements fail banned substance tests because they put in things like pro hormones and powders that stimulate testosterone in other ways that aren't typically banned substances. They're not injectables, but yeah, that you can be picked up, and yeah, you really should, as a professional athlete, know exactly what you're putting in your body. But it was in Brazil, so it could have genuinely been like she just gave me some stuff and I took it, and
yeah,
yeah,
I'd say warning defense for sure. Oh, sorry,
sure.
I didn't know what I was taking. And I mean, he's had some back things. Like you can psychologically kind of, look at some players and go, oh, I can kind of see why you took that. And, there's some people where you kind of look at Diddy and you're just like, I don't know if it's in you to take performance enhancing drugs. Anyway, this Jack Jumpers team, ooh, I watched that Taipans game and I was like, ooh, that's a rough team, man.
Did the types win?
They ended up winning 69-62
Mm.
dogfight. It was a 13-6 second quarter to the Jack Jumpers and then a 19-6 to Cairns third quarter.
Yeah.
And it was just like I think they were up 14 or 15 on the Jack Jumpers, and they just couldn't score the ball. And it was like, oh, rough. Maggette seems to be playing quite well, Josh Maggette. But the rest of that team is just like it's a rough team. Magne struggling, McVeigh struggler. Adams,
Steindel's not bad.
Yeah, but still he's streaky, man.
Yeah, he's always been a streaky shooter. It's like Jerich, just streak.
So is Jerich still playing for the Taipans?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he sure is. He didn't play in that game against the Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, I'd say that the Jack Jumpers is an easy win, to be honest with you.
I would like to see us just maul them,
Put some for and against up.
Yeah, just looking at that team, you just like we really should beat that team. So if we kind of lose to them, we'll be pretty disappointed. So what do you reckon? Three game road trip?
I think two is realistic. I think we'll beat Melbourne. I think we'll have a hard show at Phoenix. I think the Phoenix have got a good home crowd as well now. They're starting to build a bit of following down there. And then I think that we should easily beat the Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, two wins hopefully for that. Let's just do a quick backtrack to the fan MVP. Sorry, the on the King's Dime MVP.
On the King's Dime MVP.
3-2-1.
Thomas Vodanovic won. I think he had a good game. I really do. Swakula Bullock.
V.
Two for Swakula Bullock, yeah. And I'm gonna have to go three for Cooks. Cooks really did, play well defensively
Yep.
and tried to take the game over himself and almost did. But he's really a three ball and some free throws away from NBA quality, man. He's such a good power forward. His shooting style is just so atrocious.
Yeah, his shooting is a real worry, man. Like
Yeah,
you can see it's even in his head now. He's hesitating on threes. I'd like to just say to him, man, shoot it. Like I'd love to be standing
yeah,
right next to him when he gets it wide open and just be like, shoot it, just shoot it.
yeah,
Don't even think about it. Just shoot it. Nobody cares if you're gonna miss it. No one
yeah.
cares. I don't care if you care. I don't care if the coach cares. I don't care if the King's dime cares.
No one
I'd just
cares.
love to be there, just going, shoot it. Just don't even think about it, because that's what he needs, man. You can tell he's in his own head now, and if he was an elite two-step to the rim type player, he's a really good kind of 2 and 3 step to the rim. The spin's there, but it's a tiny little bit out of control.
Yeah,
If he was elite getting to the rim, I'd go, okay, fair enough. Like make them come out to you, fair enough. Make them respect you, and then beat them off the dribble. But they're still like teams know now. They're like, he's not going to shoot threes, and I'd love to just be there, just go and shoot it.
yeah,
Like
and
keep
that's the
people
problem.
honest, shoot it. I don't even care if it's going to miss. Just
It's
keep
the Ben,
shooting it.
it's the Ben Simmons effect because then you clog the lane for everyone else.
Pretty much. So I went with Glover for 3 points. Thought he deserved that. And then Wani for two, pardon me, and then Tommy V gets my one. Who are we saying that just gets one every week? Was it Tommy V?
Tommy B,
Yeah,
yeah, Tommy B always gets one. Solid.
just every week.
You expect nothing, and he always delivers. So it's
You,
just like, how can
you
you not give him one?
expect nothing. That's such a good way to explain it too.
You expect nothing,
Um,
and when he delivers, you're like, that's mad.
yeah, awesome, nice one. And then when it's bad, you're just like, yeah, but it's Tommy. Like it's it's bad. Thanks everyone for the fan MVP too. We'll keep pushing that out. Don't be shy, everyone out there listening along at home. Get in there and give us your 3, 2, 1s, even if we lose. And I've opened up a new category for the refs. Someone was like refs. I was like, yeah, it's done. Like it's going in there. So let's see if the refs can claim that fan MVP, and I think we'll open it up for us too. We'll use the refs as well.
Okay.
Now tips. I'm struggling. My voice is struggling. So let's get these tips out of the way, and I'll go and make myself a cup of tea and go to bed. The first game Thursday night, United at home to the Kings.
Sydney.
Kings, man, it's so hard not to tip the Kings, but I think they're
Yes.
gonna win this game. Hawks and the Breakers.
Oh,
Hawks for me. Also, Perth at home to Bullets. Now this is another one,
yeah, I'm
another
gonna go
big one, man.
Perth. Perth look good, man.
Perth lost against the Bullets in that overtime game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll come back from that. You just
Yeah,
can't
they'll
count
bounce
them
back.
out. I just,
Yeah, they'll bounce back. It's They took some bad shots at the end of that game too. Where I was just
yeah.
like, "What are you doing, Perth? What is this? This is not the Perth I know." Kings at home to Phoenix.
At home, yeah, I'll go Kings. Kings 3 times this week. Why not?
Let me just double check that. Why do I feel like that's not right? My internet's decided to just lag a little bit. No, it's a Kudos. It is a Kudos Bank Arena. You going Kings?
I am, yes.
I'll go Kings as well. I think. I wouldn't be surprised if the Phoenix get up on that one. And then Taipans at home to the 36ers. Pardon me. Oh, it's a bit of a
I'll go
rough game.
Taipans. I'll go Taipans.
Types.
I'm gonna go Taipans.
The 36ers beat the Breakers. They looked rough, man, in that. I'm going to go Types as well. Just to grab my first piece of Types action. Remember a couple of years ago where it was just Types,
Oh, that was so good, man.
and then we got on the bandwagon and they just went to just absolute dog turd. I was like, no, what are you doing? United at home to the Breakers. Tough.
Breakers.
Breakers. Wow. I'm going United for that one. Because United did win, didn't they? They won one game, I think. Have they? No, they haven't. They just had that one game against they're 0-2, so they'll bounce back for me. Bullets at home to the Hawks.
Yeah, Bullets.
Bullets. Wow. I'm going Hawks. Riding that Hawks train. Perth's at home to the Jack Jumpers.
That's Perth.
And then the Kings rounding it out at home to the Jack Jumpers. feel
Kings.
like that's not right.
That's not right, is it? That doesn't seem right.
Let me double check that one. I'm going off the fantasy list, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Well, the round 3 ends on the NBL
Yeah,
app.
kudos. So we don't go all the way south. We come back after going to Melbourne. And the Jack Jumpers come to kudos for the first time ever. I'm going Kings anyway.
Kings, yeah, but there seems to be round 3 ends, type ends versus 36ers on the NBL app.
On the site, it's here, right now. I'll even I'll break out the for those watching at home. I'll break out the Toucan plus media. It doesn't work. Damn. What am I gotta remember which one it is. It's been a long time since I've done this.
Yeah, no, you're right. Jack Jumpers and is round 3. Yes, it is. It's just weird. It's just not coming up in the app. Yeah, so
Yeah, the app's gone a bit funky this year.
yeah, so it is Kings Jack Jumpers it finishes round 3. So Jack Jumpers pay on the Sunday and then on the Wednesday.
Have you noticed that as well in the app where like the games are just kind of like they don't come up as a game anymore? It's just like it's these two teams are playing each other and you're like, yeah, I want to know what's happening in the game. Show me the game. What the hell?
Yes.
And that's the final game of the round. So another big week, massive week of tips. It was a 6-game first week, 7-game, and then this one is a 9-game. A lot of points on offer. And I think that about wraps it up for another week. Tough loss, but I think we've got a huge stretch here to bounce back. Beat Melbourne, have a good showing against the Phoenix, and then trounce the Jack Jumpers at home.
Sounds good.
Just a reminder, you can join our fantasy league on NBL Fantasy. That's what it is, right? The NBL Fantasy. We'll repost and we'll share the code to join. Try and get as many people in there. There is a prize too if you want to join that. There is a prize to if you win that. I'm really bad at fantasy, so you're always going to beat me. So it's going to be funny. You can give me abuse just to lord it over me because I'm terrible at it. And tipping and fan MVP too. Don't be scared to get in on fan MVP. Give us 3, 2, 1. Keep that going. We'll try and get as many in there as we can this season, and we'll try and get that updated and unveil that at the end of the season. And as always, you can find us on Facebook. We're live right now on Facebook. You can watch us in replay on Facebook and on YouTube and in audio format. You can also find us on the Anchor platform, which goes out to Spotify and to Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. If you want to listen to the audio version, I'll put them up after this. And we got comments. David Knight, Bruce or KD?
Bruce.
I like KD, but yeah, I kind of like Sean Bruce. Just his size, power, plays defense a little bit better. KD in the right team, KD. Like if KD had his own team, yeah, sure. But in a team with Sobey, it's a little bit just like stand in the corner, KD. Like, yeah, okay, boss, no worries. And then, doesn't shoot the ball. So that's the end of another episode. We'll be back next week, next Monday, to round out the huge round coming up. Maybe, I don't know what day is that game on, actually.
Wednesday, the game.
It's a Wednesday. So we'll wait till the end of the week. Maybe do a Friday or something like that.
Yeah, Friday's
right before Christmas
start.
Eve special.
Yeah. We'll do Thursday. We'll do Thursday.
Thursday, right.
Thursday.
And as always, we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dock.